Welcome back, people of the world. We are here with another collaboration. I don't even know if we should say collaboration anymore. It's almost like a merge. We are back. Welcome back to the show, people of the world. It is it is Kyle Spain with Mental Warfare, and I'm joined again with my right hand man, Sean Hanlon of the Release Valve. What's going on, brother?
Any time spent away from here, it just gets me so anxious to just get back here and get going again. And as soon as we're setting up and we hit record and everything, it's like, yes.
Man, it was crazy that you say that is because I feel the same way. And well, in the sense of like when we just hit record, I just felt like yes, it's just like this is what we needed, and it's so crazy because like the enemy is so slick, man, and the things that he does to get you like down and just like or just to feel anxiety, just even leading up into to the setup, dealing with my kids and cooking and doing all that stuff, and it was just like, man, I got to go set up and stuff like that. But as soon as I got on here, I'm like, yes, like finally, it's like the relief.
Yeah.
Like man, it's like the days have just been they have
Like the
been
release from the mental warfare.
my goodness, right? And this is like so necessary because sometimes a part of me is like, man, like I don't feel like setting up. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel like I'm like getting my
Yeah.
right exactly. But once we're here, it's like this is where I'm supposed to be. This is what we're
Yeah,
supposed to be doing.
exactly.
Man, blessed to be able to do it with the brother of mine too, man. Because, man, I just wish that everybody was able to do this. My goodness, it's like that.
That's why I keep trying to talk about it more and more when people bring it up, and throw it in as many people's faces as I can, because it's very hard to hit somebody up and say, "Hey, do you want to talk about your problems?"
Right,
You know what I mean?
right.
Because
So
I don't want people to think that I'm looking at them and be like,
Right.
"You got some
Hey.
issues. Like you
Right.
need to talk about this."
like,
It's
whoa,
not
dude,
like
like
that.
wait, coming on a little strong.
But yeah, like we said before, we want to talk about not just the struggles, but we want to talk about the wins too. We want to talk about the things that are helping us get by, the things that we're doing that relieve some of that pressure and that stress a little bit. We want to talk about those win stories, the things that are helping people get to where they want to be, or at least get closer to it, right? We don't always want the focus to be on the struggle.
Absolutely.
No issues with talking about struggle, but we just want this to be an avenue for everybody for whatever reason that they want to come on and talk about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. And it's so like universal, right? And like you said, it's not just about talking about our problems. It's literally just about connecting and having community, and just being able to separate ourselves from the real life and everything that we have going on, and just being able to release, connect and get our minds off, the everyday battles, of the everyday struggles, the struggles that we're dealing with every day. And this is just, every time we come on here, it's always like fresh. You know what I'm saying? It hasn't gotten old yet. I mean, I don't know if it can get old because like
No.
the releasing and then expressing is just so important for healing that, man, it's vital. Like you talk about that pressure and, saying the release valve, right? And so, when you got that pressure built up, just like stuffing everything down. I mean, pressure can be related in so many ways, right? And stuffing your emotions down, and just keeping those things suppressed, it builds up pressure, right?
Yeah.
Until we end up exploding. And that kind of like leads into like to the topic of today, the fast lane, right? And I guess I'll start with my story, and it happened last week, man. It was like last Wednesday. I was at work, and it just seemed like there was so much going on that I was just like riled up in my mind, and I was just like pacing, and it was just like, man, I just wish that I was like where I wanted to be with this podcast, and this thing was already blown up, and I'm like, living the life that I dreamed of, right? And it was like it was like a thought process or an emotion at that moment that I couldn't shake. And I was because being at the Y, the Y has been closed due to some plumbing issues, and so we've just been doing some like outdoor shifts and cleaning and stuff like that. It was pretty boring, right? Having a lot of time to think about my thoughts, and like my thoughts weren't friendly to me. They weren't being friendly to me. I got caught in fast lane, to say the least. I was just like, I was tripping. I was worried.
Sometimes you got to merge over into that slow lane, slow things down, recoup a little bit. But yeah, if you're over in that fast lane, people are trying to go, all the traffic's going around you fast and everything. Yeah, it's tough. Your anxiety starts rising. You're not performing at your best. You're not thinking clearly.
Nah, and it for real. And it wasn't until I sat down and I pulled up YouTube and immediately, God blessed me with the video. He brought me back down to life. He brought me back down to to a state of calmness. And it was a video of this homeless man, and I'm gonna try and link that video in the description. But it was a homeless man that was spitting the word, and he started talking about how everybody's just going so fast and just passing everything up, just to get to their destination, and doing whatever they need to do to get there, and just basically running everything over that's in their path, right? And I think that's the issue with the world now, right? Everyone is so quick to try and get from A to B that we're not stopping to have community, to stop and to say hi and what's up, and to think about or to ask somebody what's going on. We're in this selfish state of mind, in a state of hurry, that saying like, I just feel like everything is getting fumbled, and life is just starting to get out of hand even more so. And I got caught up into that, bro. I got caught up in that. And it's so crazy. Like I talked about, the enemy is just so skilled at throwing us off and getting us in an emotional tizzy. Do you know what I'm saying? Right. It's easy to get knocked off track, man. And so
and then again, not thinking clearly. So then when other things pop up from that point on, it's a reactive, standpoint that you're taking. And
Absolutely.
then that snowballs from there. Things just start piling up, like you were saying. Life comes at you fast. And again, it's never at a time that you're ready for it. And you're like, all right, yeah. I mean, who starts their day? They wake up in the morning, they say, all right, ready for a bad day. Yeah. Like, let's go. Let's go.
You know what's crazy about that? We should
I can take that on today.
Right? But you know what? I actually, had a blog about that. And it's like, not a blog. I don't think I posted it yet. But it was about, it's about how we probably need to almost not anticipate something bad to happen, but having the awareness of the possibility of, things that can happen in our lives that are going to throw us off track. Right? You know what I'm saying? Just being mentally prepared for that. And it's not easy because, again, we just have so much going on, and the distractions. It's very easy to forget those key concepts and those key components in which that are going to help us succeed throughout the day. Yeah. But I'm grateful for that moment, because it allowed me to bring me back down into a conscious state of mind, to where it was like, man, like I forgot that I need to be enjoying this journey, being present in the moment. Not that I don't need to be thinking about the future and dreaming about the future, preparing for the future, but it's like that movie, the Kung Fu Panda movie, and
I love that movie.
Man, and the dad is like, the past is in the past. I'm botching it. The past is in the past, and the future is the future. The present is called now because it's a gift, right? And it's literally, it is a gift. You know what I'm saying? By the grace of God, we have an opportunity. You know what I'm saying? To continue to build on ourselves, and not worry about tomorrow, right? Because tomorrow we don't even know what tomorrow has to come. And it was a moment. It was a breakthrough moment for me. It was like, man, I went through my warfare, but I got through it on the other side, and now it allowed me to to come back down and to focus on what I have going on right now, being present, just being grateful that I have my kids and have my life, you know what I'm saying, have my health, I have my wife, and then just an opportunity to get better. And so everyone needs to slow down. I mean, the world is just getting so out of control. Like, I don't see it slowing down at all, which
I know.
is crazy.
It needs to
Which
hurry
is
up and
why-
slow down.
It needs to hurry up and slow down. But what's going on in your world, my man?
Same thing. It's tough to focus on the things that I want to focus on and the things that matter when I have to deal with things that come up while doing the stuff that I don't want to do, like
Yeah.
work, working
Yeah.
for somebody else, not being able, and it's not necessarily that I don't want to work. I love working. I think
Oh,
it's
that's-
it's a
about-
good character builder,
Yeah.
good pastime. It gives a feeling of self-worth and purpose. You feel like you're accomplishing something if you're in the right job, but
Yeah.
I think that's the problem with a lot of people, not just myself, is that we're doing things that we don't want to do. We just kind of got into that position. One thing led to another. We got good at something, which led to us into a different position, and we follow the money, right? But are we all really doing something that sets our soul on fire?
Right.
Speaking for myself, the answer is no.
Absolutely.
So dealing with trying to have a focus on the things that matter, like my family, like my health, like the things that I am passionate about, the things that I do want to do with myself, not just wasting my life away and wasting the time, which is
Time.
the only thing that we have in life.
Common
Not wasting
denominator.
that time. Yeah, not wasting the time and making the most of the time that I do have. So, not to sound like a crybaby or anything like that, but it's really tough when I have things pop up at work when all I want to do is be there for my family and do things for myself.
Right.
I don't have a feeling of like I could go any day now. You know what I mean? I'm not sitting back in a frantic state because I feel like I could die at any moment, and I'm not doing things that matter. So, it's driving me crazy. But I do still have a sense of mortality to the degree of like, man, I really don't want to waste my time. I really don't want to waste. I don't want to spend the next 30 years doing something that I don't want to do. And then by the time I'm, in my 60s, I'm just bitter at the world and beaten down and broken down and not feeling good physically, mentally, emotionally, and all that type of stuff. I feel like I'm at a point in my life to where I can and should focus on the things that make me happy.
Yeah, man.
And try to go forward with the rest of my life with that as my primary focus.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, dealing with stuff at work and, also being in a position financially where I have to work, I have to go
Right.
do those things that
Right.
that I don't want to do. So I have to deal with the things that come up while doing it. And, when those things come up and it's not exactly worth the time financially, but I have to do it anyways, like it just upsets me.
Yeah, I know.
I
It
feel
kinda
like it's
like
a waste
puts you-
of my life.
Yeah, I feel like it kind of like puts you in general.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it puts you in this like your mood is at a threshold, just knowing that you have to go to work. The anticipation of having to go to work, it already puts your mood at a level of anxiety, or a level of being upset, you know what I'm saying, down. And just,
Under stress of some sort, because I'm thinking
yeah,
about work, I'm thinking
pressure.
about the things that come up with it, I'm thinking about how I need to perform at that job, you know what I mean? And again, the times that I'm thinking about all that type of stuff isn't while I'm at work. While I'm at work, I'm thinking about all the stuff that I want to be doing, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
While I'm thinking about all that stuff about the work related things like that is when I'm at home and I should be enjoying my time with my family or the time that I have for myself, or that
Yeah.
type of stuff. So it's even more frustrating because then I feel like it's taking away, not only is it physically taking away my time from the things that I want to be doing, because I have to go and do that job, but it's then, you know, mentally taking away from my time and my space and my existence because, again, I'm thinking about it at times, you know, on Sundays, halfway through Sunday, I'm starting to think about Monday and what I got to do to get ready for the next
Yeah.
week and, you know, the stuff. And I'm not 100% here and present, like you said, with my family or, you know, with myself, whatever it is that I'm doing, I'm not 100% present in that moment. And, yeah, you know, so I'm at a point where, like I said, I'm really trying to keep that that forethought as much on the things that matter as I can.
Yeah, man, and like you said, it's tough, and it's not about sounding like a baby. It's about being honest, with your feelings, man. This is that platform, right, of getting that out, because a lot of us,
Yeah, exactly.
if there's only 95% of the world, if there's only 5% of the world that actually accomplishes and reaches their dreams, then that means the other 95% are either in the same
What
state
are
we
we
are,
doing?
or
What are we doing?
I'm sure of that 95%, there's someone that's feeling the same way we are. You know what I'm saying? And
Has to be.
again, that's the whole purpose of this. But yeah, man, it's not easy, living a life and doing things that you don't love, because it automatically jeopardizes your happiness, right? It puts me in a mood, and
Yep.
I sometimes, take it out, not take it out, but it's not translates, my word. What's the word? I don't take it
Transfers.
out. Yeah, transfers. That's not the correct word, but I'm just more antsy, not antsy, but like just quicker, to get upset or get more irritated by something
Yeah.
else. You know what I'm saying? And like my patience, right? My patience has been thin. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm a quicker to react. You know what I'm saying? I'm quicker to get a little bit more upset about something versus, taking the time, with some patience and looking at a situation and being like, okay, well, how can we approach this situation without getting upset, so we can handle it in a way that's going to be productive and not end up me, having to yell or get upset about something when it didn't have to be that way.
Yeah.
And so,
It's
man,
same thing, I noticed that how I handle things on the weekend is better than how I handle things during the week.
right,
You know what I mean? If something
Yeah.
pops up, I go to work and I come home and something pops up, like you said, I'm way quicker to react and have a reactive response as opposed to a more calm and understanding response type of thing. If something pops up on the weekend, I didn't go through all these other extra things that raised my stress level to a point that I am so reactive when something happens. So I find that I'm just a better person. I'm a better parent. I'm a better husband. I'm a better father. Parent. When I haven't dealt with bullshit that I don't want to deal with.
Yeah. And it's that
and that's not to
weekend.
say, and that's not to say that I don't want to ever deal with anything. I don't want to ever deal with any problems. I understand that life is full of things, and I think it's good to go through some sort of a resistance of some sort when
Yeah.
you're dealing with things. Give a little push and figure out how, like we said before, how to deal with it, how to respond, and now that I am a father, I actually look forward to those moments in my life where I'm in a good headspace and I can see things clearly, and something comes up and it's like, oh, I can navigate through this. I can
Yeah.
see how I should handle this and how I should go
Yeah.
about it, type of thing. And yeah, during the week, especially after a long day of work, I come home and I just don't have that clear path to know how to navigate around things. I'm just kind of barging right through it sometimes, like you said, getting upset and
Yeah.
just not dealing with it in the best way. I do find that I'm able to circle back a lot more now, and if I have an explosion or if I have a action or a reaction that isn't in favor of what I'm really, how I'm looking to really act, I'm a lot better at being able to circle back now and be like, all right, listen, I apologize,
Yeah.
for what just happened, type of thing. I was a little upset about this, and kind of explain my side of it. A lot of times, I'll find that whoever I'm dealing with in that situation, that once they hear that side of it, that calm side of it, and not that explosive, trying to
Reactive
get
side, yeah.
somebody to understand how upset I am, by raising my voice, you know what I mean? Like, this is how
Yeah.
upset I am. No, I can get my point across without getting to that level, type of thing. And
Yeah.
I find that people respond better, whether it's a child or an adult. They
Yeah.
respond better when I'm coming from a calm state and I'm
Yeah.
explaining my side more.
And I love that you said that, because that's so true. I mean, that's big facts, man. Because it's always less effective raising your voice and responding and reacting in a way that is, aggressive, or it's just like, whoa, like, you know what I'm saying?
Well,
Like,
because I think I'm a defensive person, right? When
me
if
too.
somebody's
I mean, I
talking
feel
to
like
me
a lot
that
of people
way,
are.
my defensive wall is up, and fuck me,
Yeah,
fuck
so-
you too. You know what I'm saying? So it's
sure.
not like anybody can come at me like that, and I'm just going to be sitting there taking it like, oh, okay, yes, you're upset. I see that. Like, no, I'm
Right,
going
right.
to get reactive too. So
Right.
why wouldn't I think that the person that I'm dealing with isn't going to have that same reactive response that I would have in that same situation
Yeah.
if it were the other way around? So
Absolutely. And with kids, you said especially too, because it's like, I need to do a better job with that too. I mean, because kids are kids, and kids are kids in the sense of, like, they're gonna do things, they're gonna make mistakes. They're gonna do things that
They're gonna
that
do
get on
kid
your
shit.
nerves. Right. Exactly. And so it's like, when just thinking about my situation, and when yelling at my son sometimes, because he's a he's a tough cookie, man. But I like it all at the same time, because it's good for kids, to have a type of response and being able to express how they feel, so you can try and navigate through their emotions and feelings. But when I react that way, I notice, saying that they're less responsive, less reactive, like more
shut
so
down.
shutting down instead of like trying to understand. They probably, he probably tunes me. I mean, he tunes us out anyways. And so yelling is just like, man, all right, like one ear out the other. He's just like, all right.
Yeah.
And then he hits me with the K. And then it's like, what I say. And it's like, what I it's like, what I
you get
say.
that blank look after two.
Right. And then it's like, what I say. And he's like, he's like, right, I don't know. So I was like, so I just wasted my energy yelling for no reason in the first place. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
Because then that gets you even more heightened and
Right.
even more overstimulated, because you didn't even listen. I was just all upset, and I raised my voice to let you know how
Right.
upset I was, and you didn't even
Exactly.
respond. Like,
right. Like you didn't even hear what I said. Like,
Yeah.
so nah, for sure, man. Like the life is just we're just living it too fast, and I mean, it's a fresh reminder of trying to attempt and have the focal point of doing the things that we love. Otherwise, we're going to continue to live in that threshold of just a threshold of unhappiness, right? Or just a threshold of being somewhat in a bad mood, and taking the risk of being reactive in certain situations, man. And I don't like being that way, man. I don't like being that way. And I feel like, since last week, being aware of that, God has just been flooding me with the spirit of love, and I've just been able to, like, just be in the moment with people that love me, and just like being present, and just like I said, when we were texting, I just feel like I've just been emotional lately, but in a great way, but in a good way,
Yeah.
just feeling the love, especially with the people that I have in my corner now, just being blessed, to have you, and just, Barry and everybody else, that's in my corner, and just being able to have that outlet, that release, to be able to come on here and to connect, and to feel good, and to feel loved, to feel supported. And not everybody has that, so my prayer goes out, and my feelings go out to all those people who, don't have that type of outlet. And again, you know, God blessing this process, and hopefully people coming on here so they can connect, you know, because it's always a great time to learn, you know, and it's always just like just gets that dope rush, right? The dopamine flowing.
Yeah.
It's just those good feelings, those good emotions versus just feeling like you're alone, feeling like you're only the one that's going through what you're going through. When in fact, again, you know, being repetitive, but it's so true that, you know, everyone is out there going through something similar. And so, man,
Or just going
important
through
to try and slow
something.
down.
And you know, again, you could even learn something from taking a teaching standpoint. You know, a lot of people don't even realize that they have something to offer somebody else, and they have some tidbits that they picked up in their life that could really benefit somebody else if they were to hear that from that person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you know, a lot of people feel like, you know, that even if you don't feel like that you could learn from somebody else, put yourself in that position to where that somebody else can learn from you. You know?
Yeah.
And again, that goes back to wanting to have people come on here and talk about those success stories and talk about the things that they went through and how they were able to get through it, type of thing. You know? You know, talk about the wins that you had in your life. You know, I realize that not everybody's out there just miserable, going, you know, struggling every single day.
Right.
A lot of people
Right.
are actually living a decent life and
Right.
have a
They've
pretty
got it
good
figured out.
job. Yeah,
Yeah.
they got it figured out. They got a nice house. The kids are happy. The kids are fed. Everybody's healthy. You know, and they got everything that they need. So let's talk about that. What does that look like? You know, how did you get to that point? You know, what kind of help did you get along the way? Maybe you didn't get any help and you were able to get through it all on your own, type of thing. Maybe somebody else needs to hear that. Somebody needs to hear that that there are people that go out and get things done all on their own, or that there are people that do get help and that's how they were able to get to where they're at. And it's like, oh man, maybe if I just ask for help, or if I put myself in a position to where I can start finding these different avenues that I can take in life, type of thing, you know?
Yeah.
So again, this platform, it means so much to me, because not only have I been able to come on here and express myself and open up and release a lot of things that I have, which has allowed me to, one, learn a lot of things about myself. But, you know, again, having other people come on here and open up about themselves, I am now learning a lot about other people too. And in turn, learning about myself, how I feel about different things, how I feel about different experiences when I hear about it. Somebody goes through something and they tell me about it. Man, I got some feelings about that. You know, I felt
Yeah.
something when you told me that. Like, you know, I now know how I feel about that type of situation. I now have a better understanding of what that could be like for somebody. And, you know, you never know when something comes up, you know, at one point in your life, how it can circle back and come back at another point. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? There's been plenty of times to where, you know, I didn't necessarily go through something, but somebody I knew went through something and I was there for that. And then somebody else later on in life was going through it. And it's like, oh, hey, you know, this is similar. I know how to handle this situation. Or, you know, I've experienced this before. I now know how to be there for somebody like you, because I've kind of not been there for somebody in another way. You know, again, I'm just kind of going off about all these different scenarios, but there's just so many different benefits that we get from coming on here and having other people come on here, and it's just endless. So, you know, to kind of circle back to what you said earlier, I really don't think it'll ever get old, because we're all going through different things in life. And even if you had two people that literally lived the exact same life, you're going to have two different standpoints, two different point of views about it, type of thing. So it's still a different experience. You just still saw things differently. You still experienced it different, type of thing. You know, there were different people that were there for you along the way. So it's just it's all different experiences that we can all learn from.
Yeah,
So
man.
as long as we get people coming on here and talking about what they have going on, we'll always have something that we can learn from.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, you know, a problem, you know, with a lot of us in the world is, you know, even for myself, you know, starting in the beginning of starting this, is just the feeling of embarrassment, the feeling of, you know, the insecurities, like, you know, do people value my opinion? You know, like would people care about what I have to say? And it's just like we get in
Yeah.
that sheepish state of mind. It's like, well, I don't want to say that because I mean, like, who wants to hear what I have to say? And it's crazy because, I've been wanting to start like a YouTube for basketball, instructional, based off instructional, skills and stuff like that. And I never started because I'm like, well, I mean, even though I've been a professional basketball player for 12 years, I still didn't value myself. Like, I was scared. You know what I'm saying? I'm scared of putting myself out there in fear of judgment, right? Because I think that's the issue
And
with
rejection.
a lot of us. Exactly. We're gonna say something and people aren't gonna like it. You know what I'm saying? They're not gonna ride with it. And then for that, it's like, if I being in that defensive state of mind, right, being a defensive person, it's gonna be like, well, F you. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's like, man, like I don't even want to go down there. You know what I'm saying? Now I got my feelings hurt. But I realized, man, that it's a lot of people have a lot of value, and we need to value ourselves in a better way so we can like build ourselves up and have that confidence. Because I feel like it's like a lack of confidence as to why we can't open up, and some of us can't or don't know how to open up, right? But some of us want to open up or just too scared to do so. But this is all those like that pressure, what I'm saying, that we all have inside, that we just keep in there, that we need to release, because it's always just going to be, a healing process, man. And like I said, even for myself, I've had my times to where like, man, like, nah, I'm not trying to put myself out there in fear of, just listening to the comments or seeing the negative comments. But now I understand better that it's just like you said, if we could just reach one person, like if we can affect one life, one person, then that's all I really care about at this point. And I figured out that I'm going to focus on what I love, and what I love is, what I'm saying, talking about God, playing basketball, and having the passion of trying to help people, man, because like this is what it's about. And at the pace that the world is going, like I don't know, like I was side tangent. I went back and looked at that movie iRobot. That movie, ever since I saw that movie, it freaked me out, right? And what's crazy is that movie takes place in 2035, which is
Oh,
nutty,
okay.
right? Yeah, like it's only like 12 years
Yeah, I was
years
just
from
gonna
now,
say, whew,
right?
12 years.
It's like,
Gotta
whoa.
get some stuff in line. I'm not ready.
No, for real though. So it's like, wait, hold on. With the way the
Gotta
world is going,
Build my underground bunker.
for real. But it just made me think about, what I'm saying, just like reflected on time again, and who knows? I mean 2035, like I don't know, the media is like crazy at predicting stuff, so I don't know what's going on with all that stuff. But like you said, just taking that time to to be present, and when we go to work, and try to be present at work as well, which is not easy to do, especially if you don't love it, right? And financials are always the root of a bad mood. Like
A lot of my
I
bad
mean-
moods are based around financial stress.
yeah, and but it has me thinking. That has me thinking about Hollywood now, though, too. Like how a lot of people do have money, and they're jumping off bridges. You know what I'm saying? So, like, just being happy is ultimately the forefront of life,
Yeah.
right? Peace
And
and
that
love.
looks differently for everybody. Everybody,
Absolutely.
especially when it comes to celebrities in Hollywood and all that type of stuff. A lot of people are on the outside looking in, and they see, like we talked about before, the facade of social media and stuff like that. You're looking at all these glamored and glorified pictures and vacations and these videos of them doing all these crazy things that we wish that we could do, and so that's the goal, is to be a celebrity and to live a that type of lifestyle type of thing. You know what I mean? And instead of really focusing on what you want to do, because if you talk to a lot of those celebrities, those actors or actresses, like they don't really want to be doing that. Like you'll hear about actresses that are actual like artists or something like that. They like to hold art galleries and stuff like that. You know, they're more into photography or you know, whatever. They always have like a side passion, a side project that they're into. It's
Yeah.
not just acting or whatever. That was their avenue to get to the point of being able to do the things that they want to do for themselves. But you know, again, we look at the things that they're doing and we're like, you know, yeah, that's what I want. And it's like, is that really though? Do you
Yeah,
just want the
is it-
things that
right.
come along with that? Like you like the
Exactly.
fame, you like the pictures, you like the people screaming your name, taking pictures of you, wanting your autograph, or you know, that type of stuff. You want the fame and stuff, but it's like once you get that, and I'm speaking from the outside looking in because obviously I'm not famous, but you know, I feel like it's a tale as old as time. You hear about it all the time with celebrities that, you know, being a celebrity, being famous is not all that it's cracked out to be. That's not what makes me happy. A lot of them like to perform, and you'll see that they like to do, you know, they'll go on Broadway or do stage and stuff like that. Like that's the type of stuff that sets their soul on fire. You know what I mean? That's when acting actually matters to them. But when they're in movies and stuff like that, they're just doing that for the paycheck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But what are those people doing for themselves on the side from all that they're choosing to do for themselves, that some
Yeah.
of them may even actually pay money to go do and not get paid to do type of thing.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's what you're willing to put your money towards, and not what you're looking to get money from, right?
For sure.
That
For sure,
I
but
feel
that's
like
that
what
fast lane
it's-
though, right? You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? That's what we're trying to. I mean, that's what I was even
Hurry
like,
up and do this so that way I can
Yeah.
hurry up and get over here type of thing.
Yeah, and I got caught up in that even with this movement. You know, like I got caught in a moment too where I'm like, yo, like I mean, I'm doing it. I'm not doing this for the right. I'm doing it for the right reasons, but I got caught in the moment of like, man, I just wish I was just making some money from it, right? You know what I'm saying? And just thinking about it from a wrong perspective versus trying to reach and trying to reach one person and doing it for the right reasons of just trying to connect and heal. And that's why I say how slick the enemy is, and to getting people in that mindset to trying to get from point A to point B when everything is there's increments, right? You know what I'm saying? There's
Yeah.
levels to all of this stuff, man, and trying to get from point A to point B so quickly. I mean, we're gonna fall off the track anyways, you know. So
It was like trying to go from A to Z without going from, you know,
yeah, right. That's perfect.
B
That's
and
a
everything
perfect
else.
analogy. Exactly. That's not possible. It's not. And so there's no you know get rich scheme. You know what I'm saying? There's a process to doing all of it, and if we don't enjoy the process of trying to build, then we're gonna lose ourselves. And I want to go back to
Yeah.
thinking about Robin Williams, I think, and I might be botching this too, but
Oh, man.
I heard that Robin Williams was like a little insecure about himself being as famous as he is. You know, I heard that he dealt with like his emotions, his insecurities of not feeling adequate. You know, and it's crazy to think about. And it's like, well, why, right? And it's just you don't know what it is, and you know, the skin. I mean, like we're so deep, right? Our emotions are so deeply layered, you know what I'm saying? That like an onion, you got to peel back a few layers to get to the root, to get to the realness, the reality of how someone is actually feeling.
why
And we
they're
live in a
feeling
world
that way.
exactly. We live in a world to where it's like we're going so fast that we're not even acknowledging our own emotions, you know, like what's going on with our own selves, right? And
Yeah.
so it's just crazy to think about, you know, just being grateful of the new awareness, and you know, being able to come on here and talk about it, hoping that people receive it. And again, it's about doing the things that you love, right? Or trying to figure out to do the things that you love, because like the world has abundance, right? You know, and there's a piece of the pie for everyone. And you know, finding our purpose isn't easy. You know, finding our path isn't easy. You know, and that can be a struggle, and that can be, you know, disappointing and depressing in itself. But having that understanding that we're all great, and we're all capable of being a creator, you know, is important. You know, that's the first step. You know, but a lot of us, our inner feelings, we're all feeling inadequate and insecure and just feeling deeply emotional about our current state, that some of us are stuck in the mud. I mean, it's just hard for us to figure out which direction to go in when we have all this stuff coming at us and distractions that are keeping us from being our best selves.
Yeah.
So,
and like you said before, the fear and the anxiety that comes with opening up and being vulnerable, and the fear of being rejected. If I put myself out there and I open up in a way that I'm really exposing myself, and I get rejected, or I get shut down, or I get laughed at, or I feel stupid afterwards, type of thing. It's a defense mechanism, and people are going to do whatever they can to not go through that.
Exactly.
Whether they, especially if you experience a little bit of it at a young age or whatever, and then you have that
programming,
that programming in your mind that tells you, okay, this is bad. I can't feel this way anymore, and this came from me opening up or talking about this, so I'm not going to do that anymore. Avoid that at all costs, type of thing.
Yeah.
And again, it's tough, and we've talked about this before. You're not always going to get what you're looking for when you open up to somebody else.
Yeah.
But if you can just get into that habit for yourself of just being able to open up.
Yeah.
And being able to do it without the fear of rejection or the fear of being shut down. I'm able to open up and talk about what I have going on, regardless of who it is, whether it's reciprocated or not, whether you pick it up and you hand it back to me, or you just leave it there and you want nothing to do with it. All right, I gotta be okay with that and move on. Again, it's all about your ego and what you're willing to feed your ego, or if you're going to starve that ego and not allow it to take control. And that was something with myself that I struggled with for a long, long time, was my ego, and not allowing myself to be able to filter through things properly throughout my life. Whether it's friendships or relationships of whatever kind, is this relationship serving me in a good and positive way? If it's not, then I need to figure this out. And I did a lot of things based off of what was cool or what I didn't think was cool. You know what I mean? How I thought people, I'm going to do this because people think it's cool, or people will like that, or whatever. So, or I'm not going to do this because people don't think it's cool. As opposed to just doing something because I want to do it, or it feels right to me, or it's what's best for me, or not doing it because that's what's best for me, or whatever the case is. Just not being in touch with who I am on the inside, and allowing that to be expressed outwardly.
Yeah.
I struggled with that for a long, long time, and once I was able to have, I think a lot more people do than they realize.
Yeah.
A lot more people do than they're willing to admit. And again, something that helped me was actually just being removed from the situation, which was where I was living, the place that I was at, the people that I was surrounding myself with. You know what I mean? I was living a lifestyle that was not conducive to what I wanted to be doing in life, or where I wanted to be. You know what I mean? It was just what I thought was cool, or what I thought would be funny, or what I thought other people would think is cool, or whatever. You know what I mean? And once I had that realization, it was also a time period spent of being like, fuck, man, damn, I messed up. Like, I ruined my life. I'm not in the position, I should be in a lot further than I am now. Like, I messed everything up. And kind of dealing with those inner demons too. You know what I mean? Dealing with that.
Yeah, the spirit of regret, man. Like, and it gets, man, I told Amanda, it was probably yesterday, bro. Like, I'm like, I literally just got, like, I literally forgave myself and let go of, of the past, and like all of the decisions that I could have made better, in my career of basketball. And because, especially being, like you said, in the financial state of having to work, right? Of not being able to wake up and go do whatever I want. And I kept that burden with me. It's just like, man, like, especially when when certain bills like just come arise. Like the other day, like Hertz, the whole rent a car situation I was telling you about, they charged our account almost $900, and it was just like, oh, well, this is what we had to do. We can't do anything about it. You know, dental bills, trying to find a car, whatever, and just all of that just coming at you, and it's just like, man, if I just had just 30 racks I can just slap down right now. Do you know what I'm
I shouldn't
saying?
even
Like,
be dealing with this right now.
right,
If I
exactly,
did this
right.
back then, I wouldn't even be dealing with these problems right now.
Right, exactly.
Oh, man.
Exactly. But I finally came to the realization of, like, what you talked about, of just being able to, okay, be vulnerable, express yourself in the mindset of knowing that I'm doing it for my healing, for my express, in hopes that you receive it in a way that's helpful to you too. But if you don't, if you don't have anything to reciprocate, that's okay too, because now I've got it out. I've got it out, and now I'm healing,
Yep.
right?
And
my
just
purpose,
getting that little bit
exactly.
out has allowed me to heal that just that little bit more. I've leveled up just that little bit more just by allowing that out, or letting that out.
And
Yeah, absolutely.
it's a process, people. It's a process. We can't change overnight. It's a building process of trying to be better, self development. Especially with how fast time goes, we're not going to get it in a day. You know what I'm saying? We have to go through these processes. Hit that resistance. You know what I'm saying, and break through in order to, to get to the other side and be able to look back and be like, okay, well, now I'm in a better place. And for me, we started this thing for like 4 or 5 months ago, right? And now I'm just getting to the state of like, okay, now I know this is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing with a renewed mindset. Just on here with the goal of just reaching one person, if that's it. Because I was like, man, I want to reach the world, right? You know what I'm saying? And that's just like, it's too big. That's too grand. You know what I'm saying? It's got to be one. That's just like trying to go from A to Z. You know what I'm saying? Like that. You know what I'm saying? It's just it's just step by step. It has to be one person at a time. Hopefully, it could be 2, 3 at a time. But like, just not worrying about what other people are thinking is going to help me so much in this process. And now I'm literally at that point to where, like, I don't care. Like, I don't care what people think. And that was a big issue for me, like I cared. I mean, I still care about people liking me, you know what I'm saying? But like, for the right reasons, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't like me, then like what for? And if it's for a stupid reason, then I don't, that's your problem.
Yeah, exactly.
And
not losing any sleep over that.
Exactly. And keeping in mind too that a lot of us are broken, man, and hurt people, and like just not my I guess my next goal is to not be so defensive, right? Not be so reactive, of having the understanding if somebody's mad at me or yelling at me, then I'm like, okay, well, what's the root? You know what I'm saying? What's the issue? Let's try and talk about that. You know what I'm saying? Because everyone's dealing with demons, right? And so, like, what demons are you dealing with? And so,
oh man, so that if you have that mindset,
it's a skill. It's a learned skill.
It is a skill. Like we talked about before, it's almost like a muscle that you have to work out. You got to get it warmed up and
exactly,
and
like
get it
it's a
going
process.
And start working out.
Yeah.
One of the big things for myself in the topic of forgiving yourself, because again, like I said, I had that realization that I wasted a lot of time. I made a lot of bad decisions. I went left a lot of times that I should have went right, and I started seeing all that, and then I had, like I said, I was fighting those inner demons, and I didn't even realize I was doing that either. But once I did realize that I was beating myself up, and I was the one that was, again, now I have a different wrong mindset. I even talked to you about it before too, that I finally got myself to being able to forgive myself for all those wrong decisions and all those bad decisions that I made. And how I was able to do that was by coming to the realization that I wouldn't make those same decisions now.
Yeah.
I'm very aware of the fact that I went left and where I should have went right, type of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And I know that if I were in that exact same position now, I would go right. I would make those right decisions. And that's when I was able to be like, all right, man, well, listen, you learned from all of that. it wasn't for nothing. You know, that's
Right.
what it took for you to get
Yes.
that understanding.
Yes,
That's what
facts.
it took for you to
Yes.
get that knowledge, that emotional intelligence, you know, or whatever it is.
And that's what it takes.
That's what it took for you. Yes.
Yeah.
That's what it
But
looked
that's-
like for you. So take that knowledge, take everything that you got from that, and go forward with it. And as soon as I was able to start picking up all those things, all that knowledge, and I knew I had it, I forgave myself because I didn't know before. I was
Right.
ignorant, you know, and I'm not going to get angry at somebody who just doesn't know any better. I had to look at myself from almost a separate person, looking an outside standpoint, looking at somebody else and saying, like you said, why did you make that decision? Where were you at? You know, this and that. I have a better understanding of where I was coming from and what I did wrong, and now what I need to do going forward, type of thing. And once I had that forgiveness for myself, that self-realization, I forgave myself, I was able to move forward. Slowly but surely, I was, you know, having that mindset more often.
Yeah, it's almost like a strategy, right? It's almost like, okay,
Yeah.
well, this works, right? And so
once you figure that strategy out, like,
Yeah.
okay, let me start
Yeah.
applying this and adapting this
Yes.
to more things going forward. So I had a situation the other day, actually, that it made me laugh. I was in my car, I was driving, and this lady cuts in front of me, like just cuts from,
oh yes,
from the
road
side.
rage.
Yeah, oh man, and I used to have the worst road
Yeah,
rage.
me too, for real.
Oh man, the worst. And she cuts in front of me and gives me like a dirty look, and pulls in front, right? And I was like, I just had a look of like, what was that all about?
Yeah.
So we get up to this red light, and she's looking in her side mirror. She's not shaking her head like this, and even though it was a lady, if that would have happened to me 10, 15 years ago, I would have been sitting in my car like, what the fuck are you looking at? What the fuck is your problem? What, you know what I mean? Like I would have been very reactive, very
Yeah.
angry, very, you know, probably making the situation worse, getting her into a heightened state, you know, and then she's not making decisions correctly and all that type of stuff. I started thinking about how I would have reacted in years prior, type of thing.
Yeah,
and,
for sure.
and I just started laughing. I started laughing, and when she saw me laughing, she got angry and was like, "Oh, what the hell is this guy laughing at?" And you know, I let it go. You know, I just let her drive off all angry and flipping me off and this and that, and I was just like, you have some stuff going on that has nothing
Yeah.
to do with me.
Right. Exactly.
And because of that, you're trying to, I'm just your scapegoat. You know, I'm that first person that you saw that you had to take it out on, type of thing. And I have that understanding, and I'm not
Yeah.
going to let that get to me.
Yeah, I love that.
And
that.
by the next 5 minutes, my drive home, I was, you know, ear to ear, just
Stone
like,
right for sure.
not
It's like-
today.
Not today, Satan. Oh my, hey, that's
Yeah.
crazy because I'm actually still working on my road rage. But you know, I did better the other day. Like in our complex, you know, you have a remote to open up the gates, and if you don't have a remote, you gotta put in the key code. And you know, usually, you know, when you're the one putting in the key code, like when somebody's coming behind you, usually they let you out of respect, and you know, the person who's putting in the key,
Let the gate
you
close.
let them go,
Yeah.
and then you follow behind. But so I'm putting in the code, it opens, and some car just zooms right in front of me to go through the gate, and I'm just like, at first I'm like, right, and I was taken back by it, but I'm like, you know what? I'm like, I'm not even gonna let that affect me. It's not even that serious, yo. You know what I'm saying? So that was like, it's like you said, it's a process. But but now that you said it, I'm really going to try and adopt that, but kill them with kindness. You know, because the people can't handle it. You know, because it's they want you to get mad because they're mad. They want you to feel how they're feeling.
Yeah,
and
they're
so
gonna try to get
kill
you to raise up to their level, type of
right.
thing.
You kill them with kindness, and it's like I'm about to start hitting people with waves. I'm about to be like this in the window.
Well, that's another thing. When you know, people would piss me off while I'm driving and stuff, I'm flipping them off. Fuck
Yeah,
this
for
and
sure.
that, you know, all that. It's not the middle finger anymore. If anything, it's thumbs down. Like, oh, come on now. You know, bad move. Like,
Right.
you know,
Not cool, dude.
and I notice, you know, I don't get people flipping out back at me because, you know, they'll flip somebody off. and everybody, because they know they're not going to get into a physical conversation or anything. You'll get old people flipping you back off, and
Right.
like the lady, she was an older lady, and she was flipping me off, and I'm smiling at her, this and that. Like people, they get angry out there, man. But I noticed that when I stopped elevating the situation myself, there was a lot less of other people being elevated or trying to
man.
get me to their level type of thing. Once in a lot of those type of situations, man, you have to really go out of your way to try to get somebody to rise up to the level that you're at type of thing. So, hit them real quick with a thumbs down or like a smile and wave or whatever. Just shake your head and smile and just keep moving on. That moment passes so much faster. Because
Yeah.
if you get all worked up, you get all stressed out, your heart rate level goes up, your blood pressure rises and stuff.
Yep.
For the next 15, 20, 30 minutes, the next hour,
Yeah,
even
you're cool
while
off. You're thinking about what just happened.
you're white knuckling. I should have rolled the window down and said this to him, or you're thinking about all these things, and you're stressed out. You're under stress at that point, and it lasts for so much longer. And then, like we said, if anything else pops up in that time period, reactive, ready to go. Like, you know what? Yeah, I was just saying I should have did this to this person, and now I'm going to get into it with you, type of thing. I feel like I'm shaving. The more heightened I get, the more stressed out that I get. I feel like I'm shaving time off of my life.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, let me not do that. My life is valuable. My time is valuable. Let me not waste it by, what am I really going to gain by
Exactly.
getting into it with somebody, So
And
self-control,
again,
self-awareness.
Yeah, and again, this is why another reason why it's important, for people to connect and to get on here and to talk about these things, because it's a fresh reminder. It's like, well, that's what I'm going to do next time. I'm going to kill him with kindness. It's like, yeah, that's what I should have done. I should have killed him with kindness. I should have just waved at him. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not always easy, especially depending on the state of emotion that you're in, right? Because if you're already in a bad mood and somebody cuts you off, then the reaction might be a little bit different. And I'm a culprit, I still fall victim of that. I still get reactive sometimes, and it's the reality. I'm not perfect, but that's why everything is a process, and continuing to get better. Trying to work on my peace, because a lot of us aren't at peace, and that's the issue, right? And so, man, that's what it's about, working on that peace, doing what you love, and like just being present in the moment and being happy, because like you said, being in that reactive moment, being heightened in emotion like that, it's just taking time away from the importance of life, right? Because it takes 15, 20, 30 minutes to calm down and to get over it. You know what I'm saying? Versus just being able to drop something. Because once you're in that heightened state of emotion, coming back down, you can't. It's not a switch, right? It takes some time for that.
But yeah, exactly.
For that meter to go down.
Yeah, exactly. And again, we're not the only ones existing in this world, and we have to realize that, again, our actions and our reactions do affect other people. So, for example, I was 5 minutes from my house when that lady cut me off and was getting all worked up and that type of stuff. If I allowed myself to get worked up as well, by the time I got home, I would have still been upset. I would have still been heightened. I would have walked in the house like, man, I just this fucking old lady, or whatever, the stupid old lady cut me off and this and that, and I get all worked up, right? When I walk inside the house, my family is feeling the radiation,
the energy,
the vibrations, the energy that I'm putting out there. So they are then not having they're then having a different encounter with me than they would have had I come home the way that I did come home, and in a good mood and laughing and not even thinking about that situation anymore.
Yeah, it's almost like it rubs off on them.
Exactly. So they're in a good mood, right? I come home and I'm in a bad mood. They see that I'm in a bad mood. It then takes away from their good mood. I've then lowered the people around me because they don't want to upset Daddy even more. Daddy's had a hard day, or he's upset.
Yeah.
Like, let's not do this and that. The kids are aware of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They do feel they do pick up on that more than we realize. And then in turn, how many times does that happen? How many encounters are we having like that? So
Yeah.
like you know, getting back to the programming, like you were saying, I'm then programming with my kids that if anything comes up in my life and I get upset, that they need to leave me alone.
Yeah.
And so if I'm constantly having these negative reactions to all these things that are coming up in my life,
Yeah.
I'm then not having a relationship with my family.
Displaced. The word was displaced anger. Displaced anger was the word I was
Exactly.
looking for. I was thinking, transfer or
Oh,
whatever it
okay,
was.
yeah.
Displaced anger, and it's funny that you said that because I was upset about something the other day, and I was trying to help my kids, help my daughter with something, and I was already upset about something, and she couldn't get a problem right, and how I was feeling kind of like came off a little hard, and like she kind of got upset, and she was like, "Daddy, it seems like you're mad at me." And I was like, damn, like I was like, oh, I was like, no, I was like, I'm like, damn, like, no, baby. I'm not mad at you. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not that, you know what I'm saying? It was just something else, you know what I'm saying? And I had to take that moment to be like, yo, you need to chill, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, 'cause she's like, that's not helping her. That's not helping her learn. You know what I'm saying? That's just doing the opposite. That's an ineffective approach. You know what I'm saying? Like kids
And she
shut
was
down
thinking
way.
it doesn't, like you said, it doesn't help her learn. And she's not taking anything positive away from that. But then she's also thinking that she's doing something
wrong. Yeah.
There's something
Sure.
wrong with me, or I'm doing something wrong. What am I doing wrong? I upset Daddy. Maybe I need to leave him alone. Maybe I need to stop bothering him. And then
Yeah.
they start distancing themselves, and you don't
Yeah.
pick up on it because you're caught up in what you have going on. I literally had almost the exact same thing happen to me. My stepson was talking to me about something, or he asked me about something, and because my mindset was on something else that was bothering me, I didn't give him a good
Right.
answer, a good response, a good reaction to what he said to me, and I made him feel like his question what was bothering me,
Yeah.
that he asked a bad question or whatever. So later on that night, you know, he started feeling kind of down, like he was bothering me, he was upsetting me, you know, he was doing something wrong, and he was getting kind of down. So my wife asked him, you know, before he went to bed, like, is everything okay? You seem kind of down. He's like, man, I feel like, you know, I'm bothering Sean. You know, I didn't ask a good question, and he got upset, and I don't know what I'm doing wrong, type of thing. And so she's like, she kind of understood the situation, so she kind of explained to him. But same thing, she came up to me later on and was like, hey, listen, you know, he was telling me about this, and this is what he said. And I was like, at first I was like, what is he talking about? I didn't even, like, I couldn't even think about what I did or
You couldn't
said.
recall. You couldn't even recall the moment. Yeah, for sure.
Because where I was at had nothing to do with him, but where
Right.
he was at, it was obviously had
That's how he
everything to do
received
with
it.
him and
Yeah.
I. Yeah, exactly. So because I was giving a negative response to something else that had nothing to do with what I was actually thinking about and feeling a certain way towards, I hadn't, you know, I wasn't realizing how it was affecting the people around me. So again, yeah, you know, I had that same moment of like, damn, like, nah, sorry, you know,
Yeah.
it had nothing to do with you. I'm so sorry. So again, even if it doesn't have anything to do with the situation at hand, we are still carrying the stress of our issues and our problems around with us. And we got to get better at that. And
man.
the more that we can think about that and have that realization, that self-awareness,
That
the
awareness.
more that we keep those type of things on the forefront of our minds, the more it's going to be a conscious
Right.
competence. You know, we're
Yes.
going to get to
building
that point.
building
And-
that habits, building those habits, the repetition of because it's repetition.
Exactly.
You know, it's just getting used to it, and I think that we need to see the world as, I mean, life is a series of failures. I mean, to be honest, that's
Trial and
really
error.
that's how we grow. That's how we learn.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all we do. We make a wrong decision. Okay, like figure out what was wrong, and we need to make it better, find the solution to it. Versus like, man, like failed, like, and it's just staying, like getting kicked down and then like staying down versus like having that understanding, like, no, like you're going to fail, and that's another reason why it's a blessing to have kids, because like kids are like, when they fail, they naturally get down on themselves. And like, it was like my daughter was playing she was playing shuffleboard. We discovered shuffleboard the other day. My daughter is crazy about it now. We went to a birthday
love
party yesterday. I
shuffleboard.
was telling you about it. Yeah, but she was playing shuffleboard, and she's playing with my son, and my son started getting some high numbers or whatever, and hers was going off the board, and she was just like getting upset and oh, right. And it's like, no, baby, it's like you just got to keep on going. You gotta keep
figure it
doing
out.
it. You gotta
Find
figure
your
it out.
touch.
You got exactly. And so like it's important, man, and it's an important concept to have, not only for ourselves but for our loved ones, our children, and everyone else around us. Just understanding that, we're going to make mistakes in our life, and we have to forgive ourselves of the mistakes that we make so we can move on and move forward. That's the other way. That's the only way to
Slow
do it.
down.
Otherwise, exactly.
Come out of the fast lane, regroup, regather yourself, find your
Exactly.
destination, figure out your best route to get there, and then you could speed things back up here and there when you need to. But I think, like you said, the point of the main topic of this is being in the fast lane and needing to slow down. And that is how you use this reference before too, that when you're driving in a car, the faster you go and you're looking out the sides, the faster that all that stuff is
everything's
just
a
flying
blur.
by.
Exactly.
Everything's a blur. So yeah, if you can just slow down, get out of that fast lane, stop if you need to, hit that rest area, regroup, refuel, whatever it is that you got to do to get back to getting back on the road and
man.
getting to that place that you want to be.
Life is like a tightrope. Like you have to, when you're doing a tightrope. But mind you, I don't know how to do a tightrope. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I should start learning though. Now that I'm about to bring this up.
When he said that, I was like, "Oh man, he's about to give me some experience on
Right.
this as a tightrope." I was
No,
like,
but,
"Oh, what do we
but you
got?"
think about, you see people who do a tightrope though, when they start from one end, let's call it A and B, from A to B, they're not sprinting across the tightrope. You can't. You know what I'm saying? You have to take each step with concentration, balance, focus. You know what I'm saying? In order to get to that next step, otherwise you fall off. Right?
Exactly.
And so it's like, the whole baby thing too, when you brought up, you got to learn how to crawl before you walk, and before you walk, you got to before you learn how to run, you got to walk. And so I mean that's what life is about.
And
a
you're
lot
going to
of
fall along the way. You're going to lose your
Exactly.
balance.
You're gonna
need to hold on to
exactly.
things sometimes and pull yourself back
Yeah.
up. Sometimes you'll be able to just push yourself back up on your own. But
Yeah.
there's a process that needs to be taken in order to get to where you're looking to get to. And I think that's the big issue with a lot of people, and it was myself included, was seeing Z and thinking about the B through Y and getting discouraged and
Yes.
just not making any moves at all.
Yeah.
Whereas
And
let me just look at, I'm at A, let me look at B. And when I get to B, then I'll look at C. I don't need to go from A to Z like that. You know what I mean? Break it
Right.
down like that. Take those baby steps, and eventually you'll get there. Eventually you'll go from crawling to standing to walking to running and so on and so forth type of thing.
Absolutely. Well, all right, people of the world, that ends our time. Get out of that fast lane. Slow it down. Like step by step. Well, you got to crawl before you walk. And then we're gonna fall, right? Like we talked about. Life is a series of failures and mistakes, but that's only part of the process. That's so we can go back to the drawing board, figure out what's wrong, and make it better. Because we're not going to get from A to Z in a day. And and I fall victim of it too. A lot of us do. With distractions in our life. Stay present, be happy. Give your loved ones a kiss. My goodness, I love this. All right, people.
All right. Till next time. Thanks, everyone.